So the last thing that you're going to hear from me today is talking about some of the social stories I've made for my classroom. So right now I am an intervention specialist. I teach in a cross-categorical resource room. I have kindergarten through second grade. I have 2 kiddos who stay with me all day. I have 3 kiddos who come in and out for various academic remediation. My 2 kiddos that I have with me all day both have autism, so we use social stories all the time in my classroom. So when I first heard about one of the kiddos I was going to have, it was his first time ever being in school. He had been an online kindergartner, and he came to my classroom halfway through the year. It was new. He'd never been in school before, never had a school routine. So I made him a social story to kind of help him through that. So this is my social story that I made for him when he was coming to school for the first time. So it just says, "Welcome to school," and it says, "This is what you'll see first every day when you come to school." So he knew exactly what he was walking into, because if you put yourself in someone with autism's shoes, they already can have some anxiety about routines changing. They have a hard time with looking at a whole picture, and so the thought of coming to school, they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to break up tasks so that it seems less overwhelming. And so if you put yourself in their shoes of, if you were going somewhere new and you had some challenges with figuring out how to get through it, you would be very stressed too. And sometimes new things, new routines, anything that is changing can really be a trigger for people with autism. So creating these social narratives that have pictures to show them what to expect is really, really helpful. So this was the first page of mine. I'm just going to scroll through it really quickly. I won't read it word for word, but Michaela and I just wanted to show you some social stories that were made for the classroom, since we showed you some that were made for like a real life application. So I just said you'll walk in the doors and you'll see the office, the cafeteria, and you may even see Miss J, the principal. So I included some pictures of staff. There's a picture of right where he walks in every day, what he'll see in the cafeteria. We walk down the hallway to the classroom, and this is what he sees. And then I put a picture of myself, since he had never met me before the first day. I sent this home with his mom the week before he started so that they could read it multiple times a day. So he knew exactly what to expect. I said throughout your day, and I put some icons. We use those icons in my classroom, so I wanted to make sure that he had that experience of using those picture icons. And then I put some pictures of the related services, some of the classroom team, some of the specials, and then I said where the bus picks him up, and I said there will be a shiny yellow bus waiting to take you home, and put a bus there. So that was his whole day in a nutshell. I mean, it doesn't break up the tasks as much as we do during the day, but it was a really great introduction for him to know what he was walking into. So he at least was familiar with some faces, familiar with places to go, so that it wasn't so overwhelming when he came in my room. And then the other one that I made was about going to the nurse's office to go to the bathroom. So my kiddo goes to the nurse's office to go to the bathroom, and so we do have some intense behaviors around that. So I was just kind of thinking it over and thinking, well, maybe it's because he gets very anxious and doesn't know exactly how we get from point A to point B and back, and what is expected and how to do that, because it's so new. Everything is new. He's never been in a school before, and if you put yourself in his shoes again and you never were told how to go to the bathroom in a new place, I mean, there's a little bit of anxiety. I know when I go to an airport, I have to figure out, okay, I'm in this terminal, the bathroom's over there, and I have to come back, and how do I get from here to there? And that's stressful for me. And so think about, if you already have some trouble seeing the whole big picture, it's going to be really stressful. So like I said, and like we've talked about the whole presentation, these social stories can be really beneficial in creating a little bit of structure to help those kiddos who need to understand how to get from point A to point B and the multiple tasks involved. So this one is about the nurse's office. So it just says, let's go to the nurse's office. I introduced this to him, and we read it every day. We would take it with us on the walk to the nurse's office. So that we were able to see, we would read it and we would say, okay, we need to go this way. This is what our social story says. And we'd walk to the bathroom, and then we would walk back. And it really did. My kiddo he kind of cracks me up a little bit, because we gave him the social story. It worked for a couple days. And then I think he started thinking, well, they want me to do this, but I want to do this, and so this is how I'm going to get around doing this. So the social story really helped him, I think, with the just anxiety part of it, but then he started to outsmart us a little bit. So but that's okay. I mean, it was really beneficial to just help him kind of understand the expectations at least, which was really good. So this is just the same format as my other one. It just has pictures. It says first we walk out of my room and turn right. My kiddo knows right and left. So having right was really, really important for him, because he will say, I want to go left, and point, and we'll say, well, no, you have to go right here. This is what we do. And so reinforcing that was the expectation is really important. So then we walk to the end of the hallway with a quiet mouth. We try to enforce quiet mouth, feet on floor, and walking feet as much as possible. And then the next thing is we just turn right. We go towards Nurse Amy's office. We quietly go in and we sit down. When we're done, we sanitize our hand and we walk out of Nurse Amy's office with a quiet mouth, and we turn right again, because a lot of times we want to go left at this intersection here. Right here is normally where we had some issues with refusal, falling to the ground, and when we first started using the social story before my little man outsmarted us, it worked really well in getting him to turn right here. Then we walk down the hallway and turn left, and we walk all the way down and go into my door. And we would earn smileys. We use a token economy. We would earn smileys when we got back to our seat. So that's just an example of a few social stories and how I use them in my classroom. My student really benefits from them, but he then uses them against us a little bit, but that's okay. He is one of the most intelligent humans I've ever met, and so it's really interesting. He keeps me on my toes a lot, but the social stories really help him with the anxiety aspect of getting from point A to point B, just as they would with many people who struggle sometimes with figuring out, you have all of these tasks that you have to do at once, and which one do you do first, and how do you get here? And so it really, really, really helps. And I'm actually in the process of making one for one of my other kiddos that I have to kind of make a classroom morning routine work, because she's also new and it's different. So those are just a few examples of ones that I've made for my room. Hopefully that gives a little bit more insight as to how they're used in a school setting, since we've kind of showed how they are used in a real world application. So thank you so much for coming to our presentation. This is the last time you will see me on the presentation. Unfortunately, since I'm teaching in a school, they can't really find a sub for my room most of the time. So I'm doing my presentation virtually, but I think it works out just the same. So thank you again for coming to our presentation. I hope that you learned a little bit about autism, a little bit about social stories, and kind of feel how passionate we are about spreading awareness for autism and for the use of social stories. And hopefully we'll do a little bit of research after this presentation on ways to support the autism community. Thank you.